Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world today. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to From the Womb to the Tomb. Your Life is Serious Business podcast. This morning, I am your host, Tia Rogers, and I hope that you are having an amazing week. Just getting back from the Caribbean, went over to, where was I? Jolly Beach Harbor, one of the largest beaches in the Antigua Caribbean islands. Beautiful. If you've never been, it's a great place to go and just relax, rejuvenate. Great place to just reconnect with yourself, your family. Uh, it was a very good experience. So picking up from where we left off, and I'm looking for my phone. Picking up where we left off um, from our last talk. Hold on, I'm trying to. All right, yeah, that's a little better for me, right there for me. So last Tuesday, I think we spoke about, just the brain as we are finding our pathways through life, right? And we're growing. We're growing mentally, socially, spiritually, emotionally, as well as physically, and becoming better managers of our lives overall, economically, right? Because we know economic disparities do exist. But how do we overcome those challenges? And we talk a lot about what it is that we value, what we value um, most from our lives. You know, what we value, we tend to do without any prompting. Something that we least value, we probably will need some kind of motivation, encouragement to do it, to get it done. So, and we were talking about some of the things as a parent and how we can build our children's confidence, right? As we are allowing them to make decisions, because we talked about as early on as two, they are expressing themselves. They're showing their ability to communicate at their level of understanding as far as life, and they're testing their boundaries. So we're talking about the brain and how the brain um, really doesn't never really grow up from a scientific perspective, as well as looking at some of the functions of our prefrontal cortex of the brain, which handles most of our planning and decision making. It holds our working memory. It has our personality expressions, and it also moderates our social behavior and controlling aspects of our speech as well as language, right? And I believe I made a chart, but we're going to go over that. For those of you who may not know, September 8th, we are going to be starting our course program of how to win in life and win in business. You can join us for that event. And should you choose to sign up and or partake in the course, How to Win in Life and Win in Business, you can sign up for $500 to take the course and grow with us as a community. We're going to grow together personally, professionally, and we're going to take our talents and skills and we're going to create the lives that we want to create. Um, Everyone's growth time is going to be different because we're unique. We all different people. We have different uh, fingerprints, so we're not going to be exactly the same. But we can grow and move towards what it is that we want to make our lives better, right? And we see that growth is a process from gestation in utero until birth, and it's the journey that we take from birth until we leave this earth. So we want to begin with the end in mind. And as we're talking about, as I am doing my best to tie in real life situations to, becoming better and releasing the limiting beliefs and ideas that we hold on to ourselves that can stop us from becoming the greater self. Um, we're here to live an amazing life, and only we can do it. And when you're talking about in business, and I know I'm talking a lot about who we are as a people, making sure that we know who we are, whose we are, what it is that we want out of life, where, and do we have a clear vision as to what it is that we want out of life? What type of life do we want to live? What does it look like? What are the components in it? Who are the characters that's going to be a part of our life? Who's the characters that's a part of our lives presently, right? So it's a lot like, I want to say, how can I compare this to a business term to help those that are following me, that are in business and you're living life and things are going, life is happening on life terms, and you're trying to stay focused. You're trying to stay on point as far as where you are with your goals. And we're going into 5 months left of 2023. So what steps have you taken up this far, and where are you at? And do you see your vision coming to life? Are you beginning to see things manifest in your life from the decisions and actions that you have made for your life, to take control of your life, to make your life better in whichever area that may be, whether it's your health, whether it is in your finances, whether it's in your relationships, whether it is in advancing in your careers, your jobs, whatever it is that you want to become better at. There's a process to it, and you want to make sure that you have qualified people in your life, quality people in your life, where it's reciprocated, where you guys are growing from one another, and not necessarily taken away from one another. You're building each other up, and you're encouraging each other and rooting one another on for your greatness as you are discovering. And you may not even know what your greatness is at this point. But if you're willing to identify it and go seek it, you will find it. We talk about the brain, and the brain has 3 different parts, right? We have the rational brain, and we have the emotional brain, and then we have the instinctive brain. Our instinctive brain is our survival point. Like, it helps us to survive. We instinctively have things that our body will alert us to, whether we're in danger, whether we need to go out and, how do you say it? Because the instinctive is more, what's the word? Primary, more at the lower base level, because you're basically surviving. You're not thriving, but you're surviving. Everything that you're doing everything to help you to survive in that moment, in that moment of life. And then as you're getting through the survival mode, you deal with those emotions, and how does that impact your progress? And then being able to rationalize it, and bring it all together, to eliminate whatever the pain is that's in your life that's causing you the pain, whatever it is that you're fearing, or whatever it is that is causing you frustration, irritation, looking at your wants and your needs, your aspirations and goals for the life that you want to live. And we want to live full, vital, healthy lives. And we know that until we get a handle on our emotions, how we feel and think, and believe it or not, our feelings will control our thoughts. They kind of work hand in hand. So we have to get a handle on them. We have to be able to identify what it is that we're feeling, why we're feeling it, and how do we get beyond that feeling to put us into motion, to not hold us stagnated. Um, and that's not just in your life, it's in your family life, it's in your job, your career, whatever it is that you may choose. And there we know that there's going to be challenges along the way, and you want to position yourself in the best way to be able to still navigate through some of life challenges that are going to come. Some you can try to prepare for, and some are just going to blindside you and kind of knock the wind out of you. But how do you catch your breath? How do you pull yourself back up by the bootstraps? How do you get beyond that impact of fear, frustration, irritation, and still move towards what it is, your aspirations, your goals, what it is that you want out of life, and what are your needs for you to live the best life that you can live. Now, there's all different types of ways that you can do this, and no, there's no right or wrong way. It's your life. You have to figure out what type of life you want to live. You can live a life that others map out for you, or you can create your own life. And what does that all entail? It may entail you having to become more efficient in communicating what it is that you want, what it is that you need for your life, so that you can begin to grow and develop and flourish. Our lives are continuously evolving. We are never the same. You know, each phase and each stage of life and our life experience and the perspective that we bring from those experiences all play a part in the life that we live, how we view life, and what it means to us, and how do we come to that self-realization that at some point in this life, you have to take accountability and responsibility for your own life. If things are not working out the way that you planned, and things don't always work out. So as I think that's sometimes a little mystery or a test of life to see how determined you are. Are you really, how do I say, it's determination, strong will, how committed are you to you becoming better in whatever area that is that you want to become better? What are your goals and aspirations? What are your life dreams? These are questions that people ponder for years. It doesn't matter how old you are. I think we all have a dream for our life. And even if we have lived our lives and we accomplished some of the goals and the dreams that we wanted to experience, we wanted to grab a hold and make some of those dreams tangible and actually go about doing them. What was the steps that you took to get there? And once you obtained it, were you satisfied with it? Were you happy with the experience? Is it something that either fueled you to thrive and strive for more? Or is it something that you're contemplating or you didn't feel as though it was beneficial to you, or maybe it didn't feel the way that you thought it was going to feel. And a lot of times in life, when we're going after our goals and aspirations, it doesn't always feel the way that we imagine it in our mind. And sometimes it does. But if it should happen not to work out the way that you plan, how can you become better at, first of all, accepting the experience for what it is? Acceptance is definitely the key. We have to accept who we are. How could we have made it better? And as we're looking at where we are and who we are, where we're going in life, how are we impacting our lives as well as impacting others' lives? For those of you this week, if you got the pleasure to participate in the 5-day challenge with Motivating the Masses with Miss Lisa Nichols Hall and her team, you're getting impact. You're getting the skills and the knowledge that you need to help you to fine-tune telling your story. And sometimes we feel like our story isn't worthwhile telling because I was there. I can relate to, telling someone your story. And it's like, how does my story impact someone else's life? But over the time of being in the field, of working with people and serving people in a variety of capacities, you learn we're all unique. And we share each other's stories. We tell each other our stories. And in that story process, we learn something about one another. And we may also find some, how do I say it? What's the word? We find attributes in others that we may want to fine tune or start to begin and develop in ourselves, because their story was so impactful that you figure, if they made it, I can too. And one of the assignments through the challenge this week is, well, one of the homework assignments was it's when told powerfully, my story can what? And I pondered that. If told powerfully, my story can do what? My story could possibly help someone come to their own self-awareness and self-realization for their own life. My story could possibly help someone figure out what's the most important thing in their own life, how they see themselves, body, mind, and soul. My story, if when told powerfully, may possibly help someone navigate through some of the life shifts that we encounter in life. My story may powerfully impact someone that's going through and navigating through life changes. They may be experiencing some loss. They may have started something new. and not quite feeling sure about it because it's new, it's uncertain to them. They don't really know the outcome. They may fear that they don't have what it takes to do what it do where they are. Hopefully, when my story is told powerfully, it will show them that they can navigate through the channels of change. And they can openly embrace the growth process of their life. My story has a lot of growth in it and a lot of growing pains, which I share. And it's not easy to overcome a lot of life challenges. There's times where you just want to sit in the fetal position, but is the fetal position the position you want to live your life in? It's only temporary. At some point, you stretch your body out and you begin to stand up on your own 2 feet and begin to take those steps, even with your knees shaking and possibly buckling. But each step you grow, you're going to grow stronger. When my story is told powerfully, I hope it will provide an example for someone else, for them to figure out what it is that they value most and what it is that they value the least. I hope that when my story is told powerfully, that it will encourage others to show up as they are, who they are, comfortable in their skin, to tell their story and create the life that they want to live. When told powerfully, my story can help parents that may face challenges, whether it's different parenting styles or different parenting perspectives from their experiences of being parented, and now they're parenting their child. When told powerfully, my story can support and encourage cohabitating effectively, an environment, fostering an environment filled with love, care, understanding, and teamwork within the family. Co-parenting is a big part of the story. Whether you have someone to share the responsibility with, or you have no one to share the responsibility with. When told powerfully, my story can encourage you to take note of the quality of people that you surround yourself with. That can be not only a team mate, partner, but also a teammate, partner, uh, someone that you can work with, someone that you that gets your morals and values and ethics of how you want to raise your children. And that will care for them as you would in your absence while you are doing your day to day, working and providing an income for your family. When told powerfully, my story can hopefully help parents understand the parental responsibility. It's a we thing, not a me thing, not a you or I thing. It's a we thing. We got to do this thing together in harmony, the best of our ability to show our children because they are watching. They're watching not only what we do, but they're looking at what we say. And if what we're doing and what we're saying isn't matching up, they're kind of brilliant little people. They can kind of figure it out. And then you will begin to see certain things. And then that may even cause challenges along the road. But it's not about perfection. It's about having each day to become better. When told, my story can possibly help others, whether they love right from the door or if it takes them a little longer to learn to love along the journey. The greatest love that you can give yourself is through understanding yourself, who you are, what motivates you, and what do you want out of life? What is it that makes your fire burn on the inside of you? That makes you restless to the point that it doesn't allow you a moment of peace until you begin working at it and doing what needs to be done to manifest it, to get it out of you, to bring it to life, so to speak. We all have a spark, a firecracker, or some fiery flame that's burning on the inside. Are we listening to that? Are we really identifying it for what it is? And when told powerfully, my story can help you identify and learn to trust your intuitions, to be able to assess it enough to see, is this real? Is this not real? Is this going to benefit me? Is it not going to benefit me? How does this apply to my life? When told powerfully, I hope that my story can help others to develop and map out their own SWOT analysis plan for not only their own life, but their family's life, as well as the life they live outside of their home in the community. When told powerfully, my story can help you find the strengths that you have inside of you already, that you can begin to utilize today to start making your life better right now from the start. Now, when we're looking at our strengths, they're easy to identify. sometimes. If this is the first time you're identifying what your strengths are, you may struggle a little bit in the beginning to find out what are your real strengths. But along with our strengths, we have weaknesses. And our weaknesses basically lie within our internal being, whether it is in your life, your family life, your work environment, and or your business life. As we're identifying our strengths and weaknesses and what we can begin to work on, and our weaknesses, since they're an internal job, they're an inside job, that means that we have to be willing to do the work and take the steps to practice, steps to work beyond our limiting beliefs, to build our confidence simply by just doing an exercise every day that will elevate you till you're strong enough and feel confident enough that you got this, that you can master your life and create the life that you want to live. You want to look at all the opportunities that are available to you, your resources. What do you have? What is it that you can go for, that although it may take some time to truly obtain it, that you can begin working towards until it manifests itself? Opportunities are everywhere. It's all in how it's the lens of perspective in which, from our life experience, that we're looking at them at, whether we see them as an opportunity or not. And what are some of the things that threatens us becoming better in life, in our families, in our work, in our jobs, in our careers, in our business? A true SWOT analysis and assessment of who you are, who we are, where we are, who we are, whose we are, where we are, and where we're going. Are we all traveling on the same journey path, or are we headed down different pathways? There's all different kinds of ways to go about obtaining your life goals and your life dreams. There's no one particular way. However, there's going to be parts of the journey where you're going to walk alone, and then there's going to be parts of the journey when you walk with others. And you have to look at how you're walking with others. Are we, because each person plays a part, each person has a role. We all have a responsibility, whether it's raising a level of consciousness, raising a level of spirituality, raising a level of economic power and equality, raising the level of our social psychology to bring us all together harmonious. There's steps in that process. And who we are, our life perspective, our self-awareness and self-realization of who we are is going to play a part, because we're bringing all of that into the next level of life that we're going to be going through. So when told powerfully, my story could impact lives in a way that builds sustainability accountability, raising knowledge as well as awareness, to be intentional in our words that we speak, the actions that we take, and the interactions that we have with one another. Sounds simple enough, but yet a very hard task. And as you're looking at your SWOT analysis, you're looking at your internal life, your what's going on in the inside of you. What are you telling yourself? How are you treating yourself? And do you feel deserving and worthy to be who you are? When telling my story powerfully, my story can help you look and see who's really on your team, who's in your who's in your team that is supportive of you, cheering you on, giving you the knowledge and information that you need as you go along the way, who is on your team that is honest enough to tell you about you. Because sometimes we can get in our own way and we have blinders. What is the blind side that we're not seeing as we're looking at our strengths, our weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats? Are we our own threat in the way? And as you continue on in your journey and you're growing, learning and healing, because we all do it. When told my story powerfully, my story can help you begin to identify what it is that you want for your life. If it's just becoming a better parent, a better spouse, just an overall better person to someone in the family, that's okay. Or if you want to become world famous, the President of the United States, which my 8-year-old tells me all the time when I ask her, she hasn't changed it yet. She wants to be the President of the United States. That's a big responsibility, big aspiration, aspirational goal, which we encourage. Go for your dreams. The only thing limiting you is you and your ability to do what needs to be done to get you to where you need to get to or where you're going. And even once you reach that destination, it may not be your final destination. It may just be an experience in your life to add on to the next experience that's coming in your life. As long as we live, we are going to evolve. We are going to create and develop our lives from the words we speak and the actions we take and how we respond to our environment and the stimuli around us. Some things we have control over. And those things that we have control over, those are the things that we need to do our best to make sure that it's in alignment with where we're going for our lives. Because if it's not, it's going to be a little turbulence. And how do you handle those turbulence? When you're growing who you are, and when my story is told powerfully, my story will help you as well as help myself. Identify the right combination to where we can end some of the world's suffering just simply by stopping our own suffering. First, we need to be able to identify what it is that we're suffering from. Is it something that we can do ourselves to begin moving the pendulum? Is it something where we need a resource to do that pendulum? And once we create that, how do you hold on to it and protect it? How do you keep it the entity that you created? When my story is told powerfully, my story can hopefully help others to be able to identify and analyze their own individual strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Take their own self-awareness, self-realization, life experiences, and move the pendulum towards the better life that they want to live. To create the families that they want to love on and have. Now, we can't always pick our family members, but if we're giving birth to these children, they're ours. Good, bad, and indifferent, no matter how they come. And it's our job as parents to be there, to support them, navigate them, even when you feel like pulling your hair out sometimes. And it's something that you learn along the way. Each generation brings their own communication, their own style, their own thoughts, their own beliefs. And as the generation ahead of them, our job is to listen and question, to help them, to fine-tune their ideas, their creativity, their perspective of life. Because they're still growing, learning, and healing. They're still growing. And although they may feel as though that they know a lot, we know some of the dangers that they can encounter. So our job is to help them to try to navigate through them as much as possible, if not avoid them at all. But we know that in a perfect world, and we don't live in a perfect world. So if my story was told powerful, I hope that my story would help others to be able to look at some of the positive analysis of their SWOT analysis of their life, to find some positive analysis in their assessment of their life, to find the strengths of their assets, resources, opportunities, and people with whom to share it with. To be, when told powerfully, my story can hopefully help someone look at the negative analysis that they have found within themselves, their lives, careers, jobs, whatever, to be able to look at the weaknesses and find the strengths out of their weaknesses, to find confidence and the ability to move themselves forward, to remove the limitations that we sometimes place upon ourselves, either through someone else's perspective or the fear that we can't do it ourselves. my story can help possibly reduce some of the restrictions of threats and challenges one may have along the way as they're developing, growing, and developing their lives mentally, socially, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. When told powerfully, my story can hopefully help someone to establish their goals and choose the most relevant goals that are going to help them move their lives in the direction they wanted to go right now, to help them to become clear as to where they are, to help them assess their strengths, uncover their weaknesses, and consider opportunities while identifying the threats and then beginning to narrow down their list. When you're making a SWOT analysis of your life, or you're doing a life assessment, you may have several lists for different aspects of your life, from your individual perspective, from your parental perspective, whether your role in the family, whichever it is, whether it's a parent, a child, sibling, niece, nephew. We all have a role in the family structure, whether it's your immediate family or your extended family. We want to be able to have a full assessment, to be able to know what works and what doesn't work. And guess what? Sometimes things may fail, and it's okay if things fail. It's all right. Because failure either is going to show you where you went wrong and where you can correct it and improve, or it's going to show you that it just wasn't for you. And you can always get up and start anew. That's the beautiful thing about waking up every day. It gives you a whole new fresh slate to start working from. And the same thing should occur in your life, should failure be a part of it. I failed many times and I'm still here. And I'm probably going to fail some more. But the thing is to keep trying. And I want to encourage you to do the same. Whenever you need help, don't be afraid to ask for it. You want to look at how well the group is working. Your group. You're in who you are, the people you surround yourself with. Is it a working group? Are you all striving? Are you all on the same mind wavelength to where you got the same morals, values, ethics? And even if they're not the same, do you have the same life perspective of wanting better for your life and trying to achieve that? So, when told powerfully, my story can help a young mother that may be struggling right now and feeling like the world's on your shoulders, no matter what it is that you're doing. You just can't seem to get where you need to be okay. When told powerfully, my story can help you to begin to start right from where you are, right with what you have, and begin making a difference in your life and your family's life today. simply by encouraging you to put your faith in God, put your faith and trust in God. I owe God everything because I'm not perfect and I'm not the smartest one on the block. But one thing for sure, I believe in God's promise. He created the heavens and the earth. Adam's and Eve's job was to take care of this earth. We are the descendants of Abraham, Adam and Eve, and all that. So I do feel as though that we have a responsibility. We have an obligation to do our part to make this world a better place. And when told powerfully, my story could impact the world and families around the world to begin taking the time and building more sustainable families, becoming financially educated, becoming financially knowledgeable, learning about our consumer rights, learning about our legal rights, the basic constitutional rights, learning how to navigate through a system that is designed for us to fail, but to give you encouragement to not let that failure hold you where you are, because you can change the pendulum in your life. Only you can. Others can support you. They can provide you knowledge and information. Others can give you even the skills and the tools and systems that you're going to need to take your journey to evolve on your life. But with all the opportunities, resources, skills, and tools given to you, without you doing the work, putting it together, practicing the steps to move your life forward, you will never discover or unlock the true essence of who you are, whose you are, what you're made of, and the capabilities of what it is that you can actually do and be and or become in your life. When told powerfully, my story can encourage you to learn as much about yourself and the life you live that you can. When told powerfully, my story can encourage you to use your imagination and think about what your life could be like and what steps you can take to begin bringing that life change about. We're coming up on the last few minutes of our hour together. And I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for giving us an hour of your time every day to come and listen in or drop a comment and or taking some notes and possibly taking the steps that you need to take to move yourself forward. One thing I've learned about this journey, whether my story is told powerfully or not, I know my story can help someone. I know that right now, there's someone that's listening to this that may possibly already be on their journey of becoming better in their life. And they may possibly be coming across some challenges, and you have to shift and make some alternative decisions in order to get your project to where you want it to get to. I'm here to tell you, don't give up. Navigate through those challenges. It might be hard, it might keep you up at night, and it may even make you cry. Shed the tears, stay up, do the work, get it done, birth whatever it is that's growing in you, birth it and push it out. Allow it the gestational time that it's going to take to grow from within you. Timing is everything. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know it all. But you have to be willing and committed to stick to the decisions that you made that are going to make your life better. With that being said, remember, you're a winner from the time you were born in your mother's womb. And you're born with all that you need inside of you to win at this thing we call life. Never give up on you. Never give up on God. Put God first, you second, your family, and God will bring it all together. I'm Tia Rogers, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to thank you for joining our podcast, From the Womb to the Tomb. Your life is serious business, and only you can live it. Start now. Looking forward to coming back to you next Tuesday at 10 a.m. so that we can continue the dialogue. And as I get better at telling my story more powerfully, building my confidence, getting over my limiting beliefs, and taking the action steps to bring the dream of the life that I want for myself, I encourage you to join us and do the same for you. Have a wonderful, blessed, amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Make sure to join us, register for September 8th, 12 noon. How to win in life and win in business. Have a blessed, amazing week, everyone. Take care now.